My kids turned their back on me for their mom and their stepdad. Am I the a-hole for not letting them reconcile? I am a 58-year-old male, and I was married to my 58-year-old ex-wife Janet for 15 years. We had 2 kids together, a 28-year-old boy named Michael and a 22-year-old girl named Carrie. Me and their mom divorced about a decade ago. I had walked inside of my house and I found my wife and her boss inside of the bed together. I ended up doing things that ended me in jail and Jeff inside of the hospital. In me doing those actions, my wife at the time tried to defend her affair partner, and she ended up taking some blows as well. While I was in jail, my wife had put out a protective custody against me. Here's the thing, she wouldn't have had any damage if she didn't get in the way. I was just going after the man, her boss, and she tried to defend him. And it didn't work. My mom ended up bailing me out of jail, and over that next year, I lost everything. I lost my wife, I lost my job, I lost my dignity, I had to move back in with my mom. We ended up going into a custody battle, and I lost under the pretense that my kids thought that the reason my wife ran to another man was because I was doing what ended up happening to her consistently. Here's the thing, the only reason I did that was because I found her in bed with another man. So it's like the catch-22, and they wouldn't listen to me telling, hey, I am not abusive towards your mother. This was a situation that you know what? I'm not even going back into it. Just know my kids did not come with me during the custody loss battle. Apparently, the court system thought that a middle-aged guy living with his mom is not going to be able to take care of 2 kids. So I didn't even get 50-50 custody. Things were bad, but it wasn't even as bad it was going to get. She ended up marrying Jeff. So not only did I have to see the dude, and she had a protective custody, I couldn't even take care of my kids because they were getting raised by the affair partner. So all of the lies that they can tell my kids will go straight to my kids. And I ended up getting custody taken away because I actively went at the dude again the very next time I saw him with my wife, ex-wife, and kids. I had to legit watch that douche play house with my family. Not only did he take away my wife, he took my children. I tried to make as many phone calls or get them to come over my house as many times as possible, but my kids just straight up refused. They wouldn't take any calls. They wouldn't come over. They wouldn't even see grandma, my mom, because they thought that she was a despicable individual for putting up with me, even though I didn't do nothing wrong. That's when the worst thing that could possibly happen happened. I get a letter and my mom is already in tears. I'm asking her, what's going on? What's happening? She just throws the paper down and goes into the room. I'm like, Mama, what's up? On the paper, my kids wrote me an official letter asking, darn near begging, for me to give up my custody rights so that Jeff can adopt them and they can have a real father they can be proud of. I was shocked. What was this shit? I had refused as long as I could. And then my mother ended up passing away. And when I saw there was nobody at the funeral but me and her loved ones, my kids didn't even come, I knew that they was not my kids. They was not family. And that little glimpse of attachment that I had towards individuals that I was the sperm donor for, it was gone. My son was 17 and my daughter was 15 at the time. They wasn't kids. They wasn't young enough to not know what was going on. They made an active decision and chose not to show up. My mother loved them kids with all their heart, with all of her heart. And she was devastated that I had lost them because that meant she lost them too. And in her last couple of years, I thought there was a glimpse of hope. But when that hope never came, I knew it was just over. After the funeral, like a week later, I had called Janet letting her know that I signed. I gave up my rights. And on the exact same day I buried my mom, I pretty much buried my kids too. It has been 7 years of no contact since that day. No attempt, no look, no happy birthday, no Father's Day, no Christmas, no nothing. No type of information from these kids. I have built myself up since then. I got a better job, a newer home, and I am really in the mindset of just being perfectly content with who I am. I haven't given those kids a thought in years. That was until a couple days ago when I had got a message from Michael saying that him and Carrie wanted to talk to me. I had blocked him and moved on my day. Then I got a message from Carrie. I blocked that message too. They tried to call me and I wasn't answering. But then they showed up at my home. And that right there is the bad thing about small towns, because everybody know where you live, especially when you go to the grocery store and talk to people. That's why I had to be like, I got to stop talking to motherfuckers. When they showed up at my house, I told them both to leave. They both tried to apologize. And I told them Washingtons, which is Jeff's last name, aren't welcome on this property. Y'all got to go. They tried to continuously talk to me about a situation. I said, no, I'm calling the police. That's when they actually turned around and started to leave. And I felt a big glump of relief inside of my chest. I haven't talked to them since, but ever since then, I've talked to friends and coworkers about the situation, and they say that I am the a-hole. They say that I am wrong. My kids, after a long years of misinformation being thrown around, trying to reconcile with me, trying to be there with me. And I am actively putting up a boundary that is going to lead me to pass away alone. And I was like, I'm not alone, I got y'all. And they said, nah, no. If you go to the hospital, I'm a coworker. I still got to go to work. If anything, I'm not even going to send you any of my off days that I have saved up because I want to use them in my retirement. We ain't that close enough friends. You need to be there for your kids and love your kids. And I was sitting there like, maybe this lady tripping, but maybe I am wrong. So, am I the a-hole for not forgiving my kids? Or should I lower the amount of boundaries that I have so that going into my 60s, I'm not going to be alone and I can genuinely trust people in my older age? Because no, I don't want to be inside of my house that I've worked for and pass away in the bathroom with nobody knowing, and I'm in there for like 6 or 7 days or 2 weeks until the landlord or the property manager is like, let me go check on this because this man ain't come outside. No, I don't want that to happen. But I also don't want to be so far disrespected by individuals that I loved to a point where I feel neglected. So am I the a-hole or did I do the right thing?